anyone else that's been struggling with goals, I want you to change your framework, like change the way that you're viewing what you have to do, because that's the problem. So I know I said a couple of minutes ago, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. It's because there's things that you don't even really realize that are seem like they're a benefit, but they're actually holding you back. So, like I said, I had 2 months ago, I had my epiphany where I was like, you know what? Even though a lot of the information I take in, 99% of it's positive, like the news, the politics, all that stuff, like just from opening your phone, you can't help but like see something, a headline. So technically I consumed like a negative piece of information, but like information that I personally go out and seek is 99%. It's not even 99%, it's 100%. It's like I'm not researching weird like drama, like celebrity drama. Like I don't care about none of that. Like I try to delete or unfollow anything that is turning into like a gossip site. I don't want it. I don't want to deal with it. So, but that was actually sucking up my time. And I was like, whoa. So I'm watching things that are positive and actually pouring into me, but I'm actually not doing the thing, like physically bringing, like through my fingers or through, like, say, for example, like I said earlier, it's very interesting to me. Even though that's good information, it's not helping me grow my YouTube. You know what I'm saying? It's not helping me like lose that 5 pounds. It's not helping me learn how to cook a new dish. It's not, it's like my personal self development growth, things that I want to get better and better at. It's like learning about ancient past. It's a little bit of the information, because some of the information actually is things that we should be implementing now, but that's a whole other story. But most of it isn't. It's just pure entertainment for me. So I was like, I need to like really lock in and narrow down and really like analyze the minutes that I've been. So I went and I sat down and I was like, what have I been, what did I do last week? Okay, so outside of stuff that I needed to do and that were beneficial, what were the other things? And I really ended up journaling out about 5 hours over the whole course of the week. So for 7 days, I ended up journaling out 5 hours where I was leaking time. Leaking. And I'm thinking that it's like positive, but if you really want it, like if you really want that next level body, if you really want to elevate, like it's go time. Like it's not fluffy. Like it's not going to be like, okay, I'll just kind of get to it, or you're always going to push it out into the future. So for 2024, if you're really about that life and you really are like, I'm ready to like get my entrepreneurship going, or I'm ready to get, my health together, or I'm ready to get my fitness game up, like I'm ready. You're going to have to really analyze what you do with the minutes of your life, even when it seems like it's positive. So for example, another one, if you're on the phone for 45 minutes talking about, now it could be perceived like, well, I'm spending time with my family, right? Like I'm spending time with my family. So 45 minutes that you're like on a FaceTime call for 45 minutes. And you're like, I spent time with family. 10 minutes of it was like, we're catching up, we're really like, connecting, da 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 da. 30 minutes of it is like talking about politics, talking about, so like even though you are technically spending time through a FaceTime with family, what the information that you're exchanging is not elevating either of you. So like, so unless it's going to turn into a self-development session, or it's going to turn into a session where you both are like, we both have been saying we want to do this, why don't for the next 45 minutes we actually like really learn what an LLC is? Like we both saying we want to, start a business. Like instead of talking about politics, let's spend time together as a family to like really learn stocks, right? Like me and my mom literally did that. Like we spent time together learning about investing. So now me and my mom spent time together and now we are investors. So it was like we got to knock out two birds with one stone. So I'm talking about really making a change. Like someone might be like, "Well, that is so extreme," but really there's so much leakage of time, and you may think it's like covered in the illusion of like it's something really for you, but it's really holding you back. So again, if you're spending hours and hours and hours looking at interior decorating, or hours and hours and hours um, of looking at cooking shows because like it's something you enjoy looking at, but you looked at the cooking shows for 2 hours and like you don't plan on necessarily cooking one of those things, you just enjoy watching people cook. Um, but then like one of the hours you could have used for like going after that particular goal. So I know this is speaking to somebody's spirit because it's like we are misled. And I think that I remember this because I remember what it was like before social media was a big thing. Like I was an adult when social media was not a thing, it didn't exist. And the amount of stuff that I was doing and accomplishing was crazy. I was on 2 different dance teams. I was on a professional dance team. Well, I was on 2 professional dance teams. One was for indoor arena football. Another one was like a dance team, you know, out in Fresno, and we did professional show. Whatever. I was on 2 different dance teams. I was working full time. I was in groups in college. I was getting great grades in college. I was on an academic scholarship for all 4 years of my college. I don't have college debt. Okay. I'm like, how did I do all of that? Like, how did I do all I mean, I still have a lot of energy. It's not like, oh, well, you know, when you're young, you know, you got a lot of energy. No, it's like I still have the energy. So what am I really doing? And so I really like sat down and I was like, you know, then you didn't have time, like, unless you wanted to like pop open an encyclopedia and like read about ancient times, which that would didn't really sound like super fun to do. I wasn't doing that. You know, there wasn't a ton of information like memes, like reading even positive quotes all day. You know, like there wasn't things like um now granted a lot of the stuff that we have these days have enhanced us, but we have to take dominion over it. We are not we like it's controlling us. Like the positive memes are actually controlling us. Because what will happen is a lot of us will like really be like down. You know, like all of us have this moment, even myself, like where you're just kind of like, oh, today's kind of like eh. And you're looking at something and all of a sudden you go into a sea of memes on the internet. And it's like 35 minutes of looking at memes. I could have actually like used the 35 minutes, learned a skill, and then been able to monetize it and teach it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I really like analyzed that time of my life when there wasn't internet and I was like, "Oh my gosh, people are leaking their life force energy, their minutes of their beautiful minutes of every breath during their day is being spent it's we're not good spenders these days. Like our spending with our god currency, our god time. God said, okay, you know, here's some change for the, you know, all this is all your allowance for the day, which is your breathing, right? That's your allowance. Do whatever you want with it. I don't care. It's up to you. And a lot of us are just like spending it on memes, spending it on looking at kitchen attire, spending it on, and it's like, unless you're going to literally like go and then purchase that thing, it's like, what are you? So I hope I'm speaking it. Like, let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about in the comments because, and a lot of people that are more like older millennials will understand what I'm saying. And especially for the younger 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds that do watch my channel, do not get caught up in spending. Like, actually, you guys have the biggest advantage because you guys have more access to being able to become a millionaire on the internet more than ever, and more than likely some of you are still living at home. um you can become a millionaire from the internet and not have, because you're not really worried about bills at the moment, so most of you guys at least. So don't spend it just like looking at funny things or looking at funny entertaining videos all day. So what I've done is I am doing strategic indulgence, which you guys can look up, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to schedule it in when I can do those things. So I'm going to schedule it in when I can look at memes for fun, or look at YouTube for fun, or look at, but other than that, like the very next moments of my life need to be a tiny bite size of accomplishing something that I actually want to be manifested in my life. I did it so easily at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 when the internet didn't exist. So on top of the goals not really working, create objectives and then do inputs to get the ending objective. I also want you to really look at your intake of information, even the good stuff, even the good information. So, for example, I did actually read like 2 hours of something, but I literally like added it to my skill level now, right? Like I now have that skill. Like I'm now a certified life coach, which I was already life coaching since I was came out of the womb, to be honest. But you know, as far as like having a certificate, whatever, and like having some structure around that was has actually been pretty dope. So I now have that skill. But what I was doing, I could have done that 3 years ago. But because I was like looking at memes, or, you know, thinking, okay, well, you know, it's positive information that I'm intaking. So I know I'm like saying the same thing in different ways, but I really want you to, I want it to click for someone in some way where you're like, you know what, I really have been leaking my life force energy. I really, my allowance for the day is been spent up on things that are not, I haven't been spending my allowance strategically that's going to pour into me and benefit me. So that's wild when you think about it, like dang. So instead of, you know, thinking about all the stuff that you wish you could have, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, I want you to just start now. The second, like even if you're already motivated and inspired by what I've said, click off. I don't even want, like, I'm telling you to click off and like do the very next thing that's going to take you to closer to your goal, closer to your objective. Like we don't, we do have the time, but it's how we allocate our time. Okay? So also too, this is a side note, if you do want to start a YouTube, okay, so this is so what I said at the beginning of the video is now I also do want to give you a form, a way that you can make passive income on the side. That's real. I'm actually going to do an entire deep dive tutorial on this, but if you want to start a YouTube and you want to make money from YouTube, you can do it. I'm doing it right now. Right now, I only have 200, I have 2.6K. So it's 2,600 followers or subscribers. Love all of you guys. I really cherish every single human being that actually took the time to take their finger and go boop on my page because there's something that you found useful in my comment. I literally, really, genuinely appreciate that because you could have used that second to do anything else, but you chose to subscribe and tap into my world, and I truly appreciate it. And I'm pouring back into you, right? So right now there is ways that I'm making money off of YouTube not being monetized. I definitely am going to be monetized as I continue to grow my channel, but there's ways that you can actually make money from YouTube without actually having a ton of subscribers, right? So what you want to do, what I did over a year and a half ago, I wrote an ebook. Okay? What I want you to do, get on Canva. Get on Canva, write an ebook. And there is like already written books that you can like, this is just for anyone who happens to have the goal of like wanting an extra form of income for 2024. This is for you. So if you're like wanting to get the body of your dreams, like this part's not going to really be for you, but if you want to know how to create another form of income on the side, and then you could even eventually go full-time with it depending on how your input, right, to get an output. So let me get a sip, and I'm going to teach you how to make some money on the side right now. So Okay. I want you to write down something that you always are teaching people. Anything that you're always telling something, like someone how to do something, is because it could be put, it's because like you're the go-to person, right? For it. Like whether it's mechanics, whether it's cooking, whether it doesn't matter. Decorating, they call you and they're like, "Oh, can you how do you do that again? Or you're the best at that or whatever." I want you to analyze what those things are. So for me, it was how to lose weight, like just how to maintain a good weight. People were always asking me in my DM. So I was like, you know what? Instead of always like writing out this long damn paragraph, I want to I'm just going to put it in an ebook so that way I can just say, hey, look, get my ebook. Because to be honest with you, it was taking like 20 minutes of my time. And I'm like, my time's expensive. Like I value my time and I do love helping people, but like I got to find harmony in this. I got to find balance and harmony and make this work because that's just too much time to be always writing paragraphs. So I put it into an ebook, or so I wrote. I was like, okay, I pretty much know the flow. I always say the same thing, the same sentences to people. So let me just put that into an ebook and then maybe expand on it a little bit more. So I have a 40-page ebook. If you want to check it out, it's down below in the description. But I made it on Canva. So get with Canva, okay? Get on top of it. Download Canva today, right now. And I want you to play with it. I want you to play with Canva. Canva is a it's a what would you call Canva? It's just like it's a place where you can do pretty much anything. You could create PowerPoints, you can create ebooks, you can create pamphlets, you can create flyers, you can create like it's just like a digital playground of like ways that you can uh, put information into a structure. So if you want to make nice stories for your Snapchat or da 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 da, like it's whatever. I have been thinking about who I want to be a lot. I really don't know who. Okay, so this is what we're digging into right now. So let me pause and actually answer that. So you said I have been thinking about what I want a lot or what I want to be a lot. Every time I look on here, there's always like a heart. It's always in the way of when I'm reading. I want to be a lot, and I don't really know what or who that is. Okay. So I bet you anything you already know. I bet you anything you already know. There's just a limiting belief about actually living that out. So when you say, I've been thinking about who I want to be a lot, I don't really know what or who that is. I think what you're really saying under that is there's things that I know I want to accomplish. There's things that there's an identity that I know I want to step into, but I don't really know how to bring forth that person or how to live out that identity. So, because I know that there's several things that you've either been successful at, like go back when you come to a roadblock like this. What you want to do is sit with yourself, put on a candle, put some tea on, get some wine, whatever you want to do. No distractions for 22 minutes. Okay, for 22 minutes, I want you to literally go back in time and affirm all the things that you've accomplished. Right. So, what did you do in elementary school? What did you do before that? What did you look at pictures from when you were young? Oh, I really love to draw. Okay, what did you like to do in elementary school, junior high, high school, college years, whether you went to college or not, college years, and your later 20s, your 30s, right? Go just write out for 22 minutes, write out 22 different things. And then I want you to look at it and like look at a theme. So for example, for me, like I actually know my purpose. It took me so long, but I actually know my purpose. And it like I realized it in 2023 actually. But it was always there. I just didn't want to step it because I really didn't like believe I could like deserve to do it. Like kind of like who am I to be like thinking I have this purpose? Like who the hell am I? Like who are you? I was doing my own limiting beliefs. So it was there the whole time. I know I'm supposed to ignite light in people. So it's like, what does it even look like? Like, what do you mean ignite light? Like you're gonna walk around with the torch and go wave your wand around? And like in a way, yeah. And I can say that now confidently. Like before, I used to be like, well, no, I mean, yeah, I just like I like to help people, and like be very like this. But now I'm like, yeah, like I might even get a wand and like put a like diamond thing on the end and like just to be funny. But it's like, yeah, I know that. So there's different forms of my purpose. I've been living it the whole time. So I've always been coaching and developing and mentoring people my whole life. And every time I've done it, I feel good in my body. So once I stepped into it, I was like, okay, this is who I am now. What does that look like? Like, can I make money at this? Like, can I live off of this? Like, can I turn this into like a career path? Right. So write down, because sometimes we have passions and purpose is different. And we get told that you need to find your passion. You need to find your passion. Passions are different than purpose. You need to actually be pouring into your purpose. And then your purpose gives you the ability to exercise more of your passions. So what do I mean by that? So passions are things like, and it could be ignited at different stages of your life too. Like you could never have been into art and then all of a sudden turn 35 and you're like obsessed with art, right? Like I have a passion for art now. Like who knew? Like I watched this podcast and now like I really want to like go on a journey of going to every single museum in the United States or whatever, right? I have a passion for cooking. I have a passion for reading. I have a passion for music. I have a passion for da 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 da. But your purpose is something different. So like I could have my purpose of wanting to help people like find their purpose or ignite light into them or motivate and inspire them to find their passions. But let's just say I like, because I have a passion for dancing, right? So this is one of them. I have a passion for dancing. And I was a dancer and still am, even though I just put on YouTube and dance, whatever. So, but my purpose was always living inside of my passion. So I was on a dance team, okay? I was coaching and helping people on my dance. So while we were dancing, I'm doing my passion. I was like also helping my teammates, like in their life, right? Like with sadness, things that made them sad or stress or whatever. So like the whole time, my real purpose was like coming out, playing out in the way of like someone I was on a dance team with. So sometimes we can get misled or misunderstood about purpose and passion. Purpose. I need to find my passion. Well, there's passions all over the place. Like passion. You could be passionate about self development. You could be passionate about hair care products. You could be passionate about, So I know that there's things that you're passionate about, but the purpose could be interweaved in those passions, right? So when I looked back on my life, I was like, oh my gosh, when I was a district manager, I was basically life coaching. When I was a cheerleader, I was life coaching. When I was at, going to different lounges and when I was younger, going to the club, there would be moments I'd be life coaching someone in a club. I'd be life coaching someone at a lounge. Seriously. So the whole time I might have been like, you know, I have a passion for going to new restaurants. I love food. Who doesn't love food? Actually, I didn't really start loving food until I was like 28, 29. By the way. That's a whole nother story. But like, looking at it like a art, like, ooh, like what restaurant, how do they decorate it? What's the ambiance, the music? Ooh, the chairs, how does it feel when I sit here? Like, I love like new restaurants, right? So that's a passion. That's a passion. But I can be like doing my purpose, like while I'm doing something passionate about. Like I could be at a restaurant, like with someone I'm coaching, right? Like, and like, so I'm doing my passion. So that would be, first of all, separate the two. Passion, purpose, there's two separate things. We're misled to think that we need to find our passion. We need to find our we need to be pouring into our potential purpose and like discovering that and pulling that out of us. But it's always there. So back to your original saying, you don't know who that is. Well, I bet you know who it is. It's just a matter of if you believe that you can live authentically, fully in it. Because the mere fact that you are aware that you don't know, that tells me you know. Isn't that kind of like interesting how that works? So if you feel comfortable, you can tell me a couple things. You're definitely a shining light for others. Thank you so much. I received that. So again, because you're aware that